some of these water levels, especially beyond the forecast period, could start to go up. First, a point of reference, a lot of folks who are around here for Isabel wondering, well, what were the tide levels back then? We got to 7.89 feet, and that was almost up to the 8-foot level, which is where we were with the big one, the Chesapeake Potomac hurricane way back in 1933. Even Ida, the combination nor'easter and Hurricane Ida, back in 2009, got to 7.7 feet. And back in 2011, we had Hurricane Irene, 7.56 feet. And I'm sure a lot of folks remember the Ash Wednesday storm. If you've been around here a long time, we got to 7.22. So looking at the tide levels as we go into Friday morning.
All right, sorry about the last live feed.
Come ashore if it does so, or get close to the coastline.
Somebody came to the door.
Late Thursday into Friday morning. And with that prolonged easterly wind, those tides starting to come up to about 5.4 feet. That's minor tidal flooding, bordering on moderate, which is 5.5 feet. And some of the computers are indicating that we could get up to 6, 6.5, or 7 feet as we get into Saturday and into Sunday if that storm does stall off the southeast coastline and we get several days of those easterly winds. Jeff?
Exactly. So that's going to be the real difference here in terms of our tide levels. If this storm is inland 2 days earlier and has weakened to just a tropical depression, or if for a couple of days it's drifting down toward this position near the coastline, and we still have those winds coming in. So we will have a lot more information, of course, over the next couple of days, and we will certainly be back here.
I'm going to leave this.
In fact, it ought to be, what time is it? 10:20. I'll be in about another half an hour. We get the very latest update coming in from the Hurricane Center.
But you anticipate that will continue to show this trend?
I would think so until...
This is going to go to 11 o'clock.
Until an entire run comes in again. The fact that the 18Z model, the mid-afternoon model of the GFS, the American model, now that that's shifted way south, that's new since those updates. I think that will allow them to shift it a little bit south. Okay. They don't want to jump the gun, but I think they'll move it a little bit slower and south. Not for landfall. The landfall is going to hold in stone or close to it near Wilmington. After landfall is when they would then move it south, not for landfall itself. And again, once we get the updated computers in the middle of the night, if those show the same thing, then they'll definitely trend day 4 and day 5 more to the south.
Good enough. All right. We'll be waiting. All right. Thanks.
When we come back, we verify how important water is for your...
Look at the bottom of the screen.
Hey friends, all eyes are on Florence, and now is the time to get storm mode ready. We're keeping you ahead of the storm, so keep watching and engaging with us on all of our platforms.
They get to tropical storm warnings.
On what the storm will do. The story of now is Florence.
I'm Tiara Matthews. I'm a family nurse practitioner, and you can find me at Riverside Internal Medicine of Denby. I have a background in seeing patients at the bedside, helping them through treatment that the doctor gave them.
See if I can enlarge this just to here. There we go.
For others as we would care for those we love. Every patient.
That's 1:15 Friday.
Someone that you love and that you care about. When patients come here, I hope they have a great time and a great experience, and when they leave, they're more confident in their care plan and that they're
That's Virginia Beach. That's me. That 1:15 goes to Friday a.m. So Thursday and up to Friday.
Which you're in Virginia for a good reason. On the peninsula, call or visit my office at Coliseum Crossing.
They're telling people in Zone A they can evacuate to Zone C, which was where I am, Zone C.
Call your local Geico office.
They have closed down part of the highway.
UVCC is now enrolling online students for occupational therapy assistant degrees.
They have closed down part of the highway and having it going one direction only.
Forget commuting to class.
Out of the Outer Banks, going out on the 64. They want to pull off those long stretches of bridges and tunnels.
Online degree at EVCC right now. Call Eastern Virginia Career College at 540.
I did go to the store today. 45-minute lines. I don't care what you get.
You're hurt in an accident.
No bread, no water, no lunch meat at Kroger's.
Do you have to sign?
Walmart.
Show your medical records
some bread.
To hit you? Does this release your
no
claim?
water,
You're
no
the
batteries.
And you decide. You're not required to listen to the insurance adjuster. Call me for help when you sign those papers.
The hardware store had a steady stream in it today. We stopped there to see if we could find batteries. They had the cops having to direct traffic.
I'm Tiara Matthews. I'm a family nurse practitioner, and you can find me at Riverside Internal Medicine of Denby. I have a background in seeing patients at the bedside, helping them through
That would
after the
be
treatment that the doctor gave them. Our mission at
on the,
Riverside
I don't know, down in North Carolina. I have no idea.
Every patient should
I
be
know
treated
they've got a
with that same
nuclear
respect that you would
plant,
give someone that you love and that you care about. When patients come here, I hope they have a
Pleasant
great time and
Plain,
a great
close to
experience,
it in
and they
Ohio.
feel confident in their care plan and that they're part of the team.
Point
Hey
Pleasant,
friends,
sorry.
all eyes are on Florence, and now is the time to get storm mode ready. We're keeping you ahead of the storm, so keep watching.
I'm gonna let this run through the commercials.
We'll give you live updates and our predictions on what the storm will do.
And hopefully
The story
they'll
now
start
is
over.
Florence.
Back now with a familiar sight across the region. 13 News Now reporter Evan Watson spotted this at a Virginia Beach Harris Teeter on the left. Take a look right there. That's the supply at 10:30 this morning. And then on the right, the supply just 2 hours later. That is a completely new pallet of water bottles.
Yeah, they ran out
As
when I
water
was
flies
there.
off the shelves, we're hearing from some of you asking how necessary the mad rush for water really is.
Sorry, the Verified team is on it.
Hey, Sandy.
Verified reporter Jason Puckett found the answer.
Every time a hurricane starts barreling towards the state, you start seeing social media posts like this. The shelves for bread and water are always empty, and you start seeing dozens of posts saying stock up now. But keep in mind, we're still a few days from Florence's landfall. So do we really need to run out
Kroger's
and stock
shelves
up
look
on
like
water?
that today.
Well, let's verify that. Our
So do
sources are
Walmart,
FEMA
so do
and the Red
Walgreens.
Cross. First up, Jonathan McNamara from the Red Cross.
What we've seen in disasters across the country is that some people find themselves in a situation where rescue workers can't get you for a number of days. Those families that take those steps are in a much better situation than the families that don't, because it could be days before rescue workers can get access to you.
Both FEMA and Red Cross list water as #1 on their checklists for storm preparedness.
Got it.
And they say about a gallon per person per day.
14 gallons I have.
McNamara says even if those lines are long and the storm path looks like it's not going to hit you.
Better safe than sorry. In these situations, the tracks of the storms are uncertain. That's the beauty of a hurricane. It's going to give you days in advance to take those steps to prepare.
And FEMA details their best practices for building that emergency supply. In addition to 1 gallon per person per day, they say buy bottled water when possible. Use plastic 2 liters if you fill your own. Avoid glass containers as they could break. And boil any water you're not sure about before you drink it. So while it may seem daunting to go stand in a long line or go store hunting to find supplies, experts say having water on hand before the storm is crucial to making it through. That's verified. And folks, we're going to be diving into a lot more topics.
I'm gonna run up to Kroger's tomorrow and buy one of their big Tupperware, huge 30-gallon Tupperware tubs. You put clothes in, and I'm gonna fill it with water
The Verified team is here to help. If you
for
see
flushing
something
the
about
toilet.
storm online you don't think is true, get our attention on Facebook or Twitter. You can also email the team at verify@13newsnow.com. Next, our extended storm mode coverage takes us to Virginia Beach as the resort city braces
That's me.
for the possible effects of Hurricane Florence.
Then we are live with how you can prepare yourself for the potential of power outages.
What's my case worth?
I'm attorney Rhett.
Sorry,
with
more
law firm of
commercials.
Franklin and Franklin.
I'm waiting for them to do the track of the storm.
Probably a lot more than what the insurance company is offering. They want to pay you as
Once
little
they
as
do
possible.
that, I will
That's
set
their
off the
business.
live
Let
feed.
Franklin and Franklin help you get as much as possible. That's our business. Don't let the insurance company minimize your case. If you or your loved one has been injured, let us help you.
See the hurricane watches and warnings on the bottom.
Franklin and Franklin
They've
today.
closed the
Just
schools
schedule a
here
free
until
consultation.
next week.
Choose a college or university that has the military in mind.
My next door neighbor is a nurse. She has to go, and she's going down where they have evacuated people now. The mandatory evacuation, she's heading down the Laskin Road,
to help service members and their adult family members earn college degrees.
about a mile
For more
from
information,
the
visit ecpi.edu/military.
oceanfront.
Education tips are brought to you by ECPI University, ranked the best college by Military Times 7 years in a row.
When I was involved in a motorcycle accident, I called Tom McGrath's Motorcycle Law Group. I knew they'd fight for me in the courtroom, just like they'll
Sorry
fight for
about
you
the commercials,
all over my
guys.
clients. When I'm out on the road, I feel like they're right after me like a trusted friend.
The Motorcycle Law Group combines their love and passion for motorcycling with years of successfully representing motorcyclists' right to ride in Virginia, North and South Carolina, and Georgia. The Motorcycle Law Group.
What a difference.
1-800-321-8968.
This is where my family landed 120 years ago. Back in the 60s, my dad brought me here on Saturdays.
I hope everybody's staying safe out there. I have checked the earthquakes, and there has not been a very major one.
He said,
Hey,
remember where
Scan.
you come from, and always give our customers more value for their money.
And yes, Sandy, I am a little worried about the path of this storm. Even if it stalls in South Carolina, we're going to get the outer rim, and that's the worst part.
Gained weight, or your love life isn't what it used to be. You may have low testosterone. Clinical Research Associates of Tidewater is conducting a low testosterone research study in men between the ages of 45
seriously?
and 80 who have a history.
Sorry, guys. You can read it if you're interested. This is not the kind of commercial I want on my YouTube page. I'm sorry. No commercials, no. Thank you, Sandy. I can use the prayers, sweetie. Okay, here we go.
Storm mode as we monitor a potentially dangerous situation.
Hurricane Florence is turning again. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Regina Mobley.
Track has shifted, but Florence remains a dangerous hurricane. Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lawson is monitoring the very latest for us. Jeff.
Yeah, we are
Buffering. I don't know why it's buffering. I've got 5 bars.
After that, well, it's quite literally, no pun intended, up in the air. We're going to talk about the various possibilities and how that would affect Hampton Roads. Right now, you can see a little bit of rain out in Central Virginia. We're, of course, mainly concerned not with that, but with what is going on in the tropics. And as you can see, this pink-colored area, sort of salmon-colored,
That's me.
includes Mobjack Bay all the way down through the south side, includes the peninsula from Pocosin back
I'm going to
down.
see if I can enlarge this just a hair.
Watch. That means watch out.
There we go.
Tropical storm force winds eventually by Friday. If we do, big difference between 40-mile-per-hour winds and 60-mile-per-hour winds. That would be the difference between a couple of trees coming down and hundreds of trees coming down. So that's something we're going to have to watch for. We don't think it'll get up to the 60-mile-per-hour sustained category.
God, I hope not.
With Isabel, but we could still have some of those problems. So that is what we're going to talk about over the next day or two.
No, that's not cool.
Is a hurricane watch. It means hurricane strength winds are possible. And
Sorry, guys, you're going to have a blurry picture here in a second.
Southern areas south of there.
Trying to shrink the screen.
A hurricane warning. Again,
there we go.
Until Friday. Something new that wasn't out there yesterday, but we had started, well, actually, we had talked about it yesterday, was a storm trying to form in the Caribbean, and whether that would influence, well, it's really starting to get together. Looks like about a 50% chance in the next 2 days, 70% chance in the next 5 days. That develops into Joyce, Tropical Storm or Hurricane Joyce. If that happens, those are pretty close together. The wind fields would begin to affect each other, and that's why day 4 and day 5, at least partially, are now changing. Isaac going to get caught by Isaac going into the Caribbean. Helene going to get caught by that cold front and move harmlessly.
With Isaac going into the Caribbean and that other one in the Caribbean, Houston's going to be hit next.
Starting to wrap in that color, you can see all the way down to the ocean now, a little less noticeable. Category 4 storm, winds gusting to 165. We will get important updates coming in very shortly. There's literally I don't think there's
1.2 lunch.
A real reliable model that doesn't bring it right here to shore between Camp Lejeune and Wilmington. Very confident on that part of the forecast through day 3. Day 4 is when it starts to move out. So through Friday is day 3. And then it's what happens after that. I think they're going to adjust this somewhat slower and a little bit down to the south. Some of the newest computers this afternoon.
I'm up there in the top right-hand corner.
This, and then drifted over to here.
Oh, 1-2 punch. Okay.
Euro, except
Gotcha.
Finland, they bring it down along the coastline offshore. That would really play a difference around here in terms of not so much the winds or the rain. It would really make
Hey,
a difference
Pamela,
in
how are you,
terms of
sweetie?
whether we see tidal or how much tidal flooding we see.
What's with
Again,
all the
here's
zigzag
Euro.
lines?
GFS does the same thing, brings it near Wilmington, and then heads it to the south. So if it stalls at the coast, if it's near the water instead of inland, either way, rainfall flooding would be a little bit of a deal here, but not a huge deal. Peak winds would be similar no matter which move it makes. The tides, though, would be higher because those winds would last a couple days longer and allow that tide cycle to just keep building and building.
It's already flooding down in Virginia Beach. What are you telling?
Yet as to what they will be, but some impacts.
The tides are extremely high down there.
Seriously, even if it makes that move south, we'll talk more about it coming up.
Jeff, thanks again. Florence, a Category 4 hurricane likely to make landfall along the coast of the Carolinas on Friday.
It is a very strong storm, and forecasters are concerned that once it hits, another system might just hold it in place, dumping several inches of rain.
Here's 13 News Now anchor Brian Farrell.
From Charleston to Columbia, from Myrtle Beach into North Carolina and Hampton Roads, more than 1.5 million people are heading one way, away from danger.
Enough closed, I'd say about a week in case we can't come back right away.
Jennifer Forte and her son Robbie plowed their dog into the car and didn't look back. Their neighborhood floods during storms. They're headed to Greenville.
We're on the island, we have to leave. We don't have it gets really scary out here in storms.
Yeah.
The Sessoms family already is on the road.
Why would you want to move?
Hurricane Florence. We live in Wilmington, North Carolina.
The Sessoms were stuck in traffic on their way to Asheville.
Good luck to everybody out there in the path of Hurricane Florence.
The eye of the storm only is getting bigger, and hurricane supplies like bottled water are getting smaller.
I'm getting it for my sister, my brother, my dad, and my children.
The governors of North and South Carolina say their evacuations are mandatory.
This storm is a monster. It's big and it's vicious.
In South Carolina, they cover most of the coastline.
We are in a very deadly and important game of chess with Hurricane Florence.
So many families on the roads are headed to cities like Raleigh, where forecasters worry the storm could
They shut down
25 inches of flooding.
part of the highway so everybody could go out in one direction.
House up there, because it's not looking so great for there either.
Jeff Nichols said his wife wants to leave, he wants to stay.
It can divide families when some of the family wants to leave, some wants to stay.
He's having a similar debate.
Sorry.
He wants to obey the evacuation order. He's not so sure.
We're packing like we're leaving, but we're hoping that we get to stay.
Soon after announcing that plan, a hurricane alert lit up their phones and may have changed their minds.
Is that my sign?
No.
We need to look at the news.
Brian Farrell, 13 News Now.
Like I say, watch the news, guys. Watch the news.
Supplies at local stores. We stopped by the Harris Teeter near the ocean front in Virginia Beach. Stores are trying to keep stock, but you know it. Water, milk, bread flying off the
And lunch meat.
I'm stocking up. The storm's on its way. So I'm going to make sure that I'm properly prepared.
Because I don't want to come out here in the pouring down rain.
Why do you think they're confused?
Remember to get cash. If we deal with power outages, you may not be able to use an ATM or your credit card. Let's take
Me too. Yes, I'd be gone
When
too.
severe weather hits, power outages can
Dominion has stationed with their machines and their stuff up at
If the power goes out,
Target.
don't assume Dominion knows about it.
I've seen their trucks parked at the dollar store across the street.
366-4357.
And over this opening
So they're
shelters
staging
tomorrow
around
at
here.
1 o'clock, the doors will open at Crossroads School, Norview High, and the Southside STEM Academy. If you need to bring a pet with you, the Bayview and Berkeley Community Centers also welcome animals. Again, all 5 shelters will open at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Chesapeake's
I'm ready.
also open tomorrow. Shelters.
No, we're going to write it out right here in the house.
You can find a full list
I've got my water, I got my lunch meat, I got my flashlight, I got my batteries, radio, I've even got, right down there is a battery operated TV.
Next, another check on Hurricane Florence with our chief meteorologist, Jeff Lawson.
Plus, the verified team looks
All right, guys.
about hurricanes. 13 News Now.
Commercial time. I'm going to call this quits. It is 10:40. If I'm up at 1 o'clock, I will come back with the newest reports. The hurricane people that fly through those storms will be sending back information at that time. So I will do that. God bless you. You guys are so awesome for coming in and watching. God bless. Be safe. I should be back here around midnight. You're welcome, Scan. Michelle, you're welcome. Goodbye for now.